White fragility is the defensiveness, the argumentation, the hurt feelings, the withdrawal that often erupts whenever white people are challenged on their racial worldviews.
You know what? This is a color-free zone here. Stanley, I don't look at you as another race.
See, this is what I'm talking about. We don't have to pretend that we're colorblind.
Exactly.
That's fighting ignorance with more ignorance.
The fragility part is meant to capture how little it takes to cause white people to erupt in defensiveness. But the impact of that defensiveness, however, is not fragile at all. It functions as a kind of everyday white racial control by making it so difficult for people to challenge us on our unaware assumptions and biases that most of the time they don't. And so it functions to keep everybody in their place and protect the racial hierarchy.
No, I'm not a racist. I am the least racist person you have ever interviewed. That I can tell you.
Some defensiveness is natural. It's a natural part of the process. The key is that you must move through that defensiveness. It's defensiveness that functions to refuse to engage, to protect a very limited worldview, to let in no information or no challenge.
Guys, come on, okay? I just want to be able to do and say whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't want to have to think about the world's problems.
It serves us not to speak about it. Racism is the status quo. It is the status quo of your society, of my society, of all Western-oriented white settler colonialist cultures. And that status quo of racism is comfortable for me as a white person virtually 24/7.
This country's judicial system has not been great for us.
Never.
And here comes a 2-hour lecture on black stuff. God, I wish my proxy were here. Go ahead.
So I am not going to get to where I need to go from a place of white comfort. I'm going to have to get mighty uncomfortable in order to challenge that.
When somebody tells me that they don't see race, I say, I mean, that's fine. You can choose not to see the sky, but it exists.
The number one question I'm asked is, what do we do? And before I answer that, I want to offer a couple of challenges to that question because I find it a very problematic question. So the first thing is to think long and deep about what it took for you to ask that question. How in 2020, your question could be, what do I do about racism? How you have managed not to know, and write down how you have managed to be a full functioning adult in 2020 and not know what to do about racism. And everything you write down will be your map, and nothing you write down will be easy to address, but everything on it can be addressed. And then get to work. It's like saying, I want to be in shape tomorrow. You won't be in shape tomorrow. And to get in shape will be a multi-part process. After you've made that list, one of the next things I would ask you to do is to take Dr. Eddie Moore's 21-day challenge and read Layla Said's book, Me and White Supremacy Workbook. Both of those are active processes that will put you on the path.
What you can do is extend that privilege so that you can dismantle it, right? So you can create opportunity for people, you can amplify issues in ways that other people can't, and you can use your resources to create space for people.
Let's switch seats. No, let's switch seats.
Our voices have been missing from the table for far too long. And by not talking to one another, a couple of things are reinforced. One, we reinforce this idea that we're outside of race. We continually put the burden, the psychic energy of race onto people of color. And most of the time, we discount what they have to say.
You don't think you will ever change and write books that incorporate white lives into them substantially?
You can't understand how powerfully racist that question is, can you? Because you could never ask a white author, when are you going to write about black people?
I am not dismissed as being biased or playing the race card or having a chip on my shoulder when I challenge racism. It doesn't mean I don't get dismissed, but the impact of that dismissal doesn't hurt me in the same way that it hurts when we dismiss people of color. This is the most complicated social dilemma of the last several hundred years. We need many angles, many approaches, and many voices.